So here are the statistics. I don't know if you guys are number people, but you can read as well as I can. Look at all the water that we should have available to us, but it's being polluted, it's drying up, it's being, if it's accessible with Zephyr Hills and all those others from Sparkling Springs in Florida, and they pay a very small amount of money for the permit. And then they sell it, no, there's a very small amount. And then they sell it back to us. You know, okay, now this is a technical map. Anybody who's technically inclined, you see where our aquifer is, and it's complicated, but you've got ocean on both sides and salt water underneath. And the only reason the fresh water is above is for the fresh water floats on top of the salt water. And the less the salt water is, less the fresh water is, the salt water rises. We've only got one big desalinization plant in the state. In Tampa, it took 12 years to get built. Way big cost overrun. The government got involved. There were all kinds of bribes involved. The company wasn't making as much money as they thought, and they lost funding. It was a mess. So the idea that we're going to be able to just do desalinization in a hurry is not going to happen. Yes,
Does that big drop of water include salt water?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Now you can find that graphic. The League of Women Voters has 29 chapters in the state of Florida, and this PowerPoint is going to be available to all of them. So if you want them to speak in your area, to your group, any of your groups, the church groups, the Rotary groups, Kiwanis, senior groups, they will have this, and they'll be able to explain it. And it's got to shock you. And that map is from the United States Geological Survey. It's not anybody's political stuff or anyone trying to scare you. It's the truth. So when we get to our watershed, you can see that this is what's supposed to happen. The water's supposed to be able to go down into the aquifer. But what happens when you have this? If you get 54 inches, that's a good year. 38 is lost to evaporation. How about when you've got sidewalks and driveways and paved streets and parking lots? The water can't get down to the aquifer. It just evaporates back up. So we're interfering with what should have been. We're drinking the same water that the dinosaurs drank. It's the same amount of water that has been recycled since the earth began in the beginning. But we've interfered with it. And then we pollute some of it that can't get clean. And if you didn't like the oil spill on our beautiful beaches, you're going to really hate fracking. Because fracking is a way of getting natural gas from underneath the ground. And they send an explosion of poisonous chemicals underground to loosen the natural gas. We already got sinkholes. We're on limestone. Right? There are no laws against it. I asked the congressman in Tallahassee. We have no control over it.
Just happened we had a sinkhole here on that.
Yes, sir. My friend used to own that house.
Oh, wow.
My friend used to own that house, Lori Wack. That she said that they were so upset that they'd sold the house to a friend who had been in it for 30 years. Okay, so here are the numbers. This is by the numbers. I'm not a numbers person, but you can read the numbers. And these are the things that impact Florida's water supply. Your water bill could go from $30 a month to $300 a month in a blink of an eye, if you can get it. So sign those petitions while we're talking. Please, sign the petitions and we'll give you a stack of them to take home. All it's going to do is get the ballot on the amendment on the ballot, and then we need to ask people to vote. And we have, our group at the League has a environmental scorecard to let you know how your congressman voted. And you need to let them know that you care, that it bothers you, that you care, that you're aware there's a problem, and they need to get on it. Okay, we call it stormwater runoff. A lot of the problems come from our cars. Now, we love our cars, but whether, when you're on the road, you see oil slicks and rubber from your tires and all that other, well, it can get in the water supply. And so we're constantly waiting for the water to be clear. Here, and the other problems are from agriculture. Now, I like my steak, but it takes a lot of water to raise a beef. And there's fertilizer involved. And so our lifestyle is counter to what God intended when He said in the beginning, a lot of things we do in our lifestyle use up water that we really need for drinking. So turn off the water when you brush your teeth, take shorter showers. I love long showers. And don't wash your car with the water running. Make sure you don't have any leaks in your house. Because everybody's got to pay attention. It's got to be one by one, and then we have to try to have the state buy sensitive land so that where our water supply is isn't getting polluted. Because some of the places that water supply is are near farms. And some of the places that our water supply is getting wastewater, raw sewage pumped on it. It just, people didn't think. They didn't know, they didn't think, but now we know. We have to do something about it. And more problems. Now, there are other fertilizers that don't pollute the water as much. We're just not using them because we don't ask people to do it. We're not putting any demands on them because we don't have a loud enough voice. Your group, the League of Women Voters, Audubon Society, all have a voice. So here's part of the growing water problem. How many of you had friends or family move to Florida because you're here? They're still coming. We have 90 million visitors a year. Now, you know, they flush their toilets and take showers and all the things that use up our water. If we got rid of lawns, our water problems would be delayed for a while. Finally, the homeowners associations have stopped requiring St. Augustine grass, but everybody still has it. Joan, you may have to finish while my voice is going. Sorry.
I'll get you where you got one.
Yeah, I did, thank you. Okay, here's some of the things you can do. Look at that, isn't that a shame? So here's what we're looking at. We're asking you to sign a petition to enable the state of Florida to have funding. There was money in the fund, but the legislature found other uses for it. Now the amendment says they can't take the money out. The money cannot be diverted. And it's only for 20 years. Hopefully between now and 20 years, your kids will have figured out what the problem is and they can raise their voices also. But look at this. Funding for conservation programs has been cut 97.5%.
Wow.
Now, were we asleep at the switch? Sort of. We certainly aren't telling our legislators what we want and not making our voices heard. So the League of Women Voters tries to get people to register to vote. Or everybody here registered, I hope?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody here vote?
Yeah.
So besides the issues that you care about, we care about a lot of the same issues. The last time I spoke to your group, we were talking about fair districts.
Right.
And we've also talked about the amendments. This is an amendment that the League is urging people to vote for, to sign the petitions. My friend Joan Irwin, stand up, Joan, has a stack of petitions. We'll ask you all to take some of them, get them signed, send them in, and request more. Joan, anything you want to add to it?
Yeah, I've got some questions over there.
May I make copies of this for our annual meeting with the Florida Education retirees and take them with us?
That's a good question. We are asked cannot photocopy them because they might be disallowed if there's any flaw in the photocopying.
Okay.
Because it goes right to the edge.
But you can get an infinite supply. We've got a sign-up sheet here
Okay.
that will get you on a list, and you can, if you take an extra one of the petitions with you, if you Google that Florida Water and Land, you got that.
You see how close it is to the edge? We were talking about copy machines.
Right.
If any part of it is not visible, they'll disallow that signature. We don't want to waste, your effort, and we don't want to
Can I
waste.
ask that question?
Right, thank you
Okay.
very much, that's a good question. The other question we get a lot is people say, oh, I don't have my voter registration number, I can't sign it. But if you look on there carefully enough, you can see you can use your date of birth and like that. And so, yes.
Everybody's going to have.
Shall I hand around the sign-up sheet, and that'll get you, okay. Okay, in fact, I've got a couple of those.
Okay, let me repeat. There's a League of Women Voters in 29 locations in Florida. This PowerPoint will be in their possession within the week. And the league just endorsed it. We've tried to work as fast as we could to get everybody up to speed. We're going to have handouts to give out on water usage, on tips for water conservation. That's also going to be on the League of Women Voters website. If you do the floridavoter.org, that's the state website, and that'll be consistent, so you all can look at that. But I appreciate your time. We really care about this. It's something that's going to affect all of us. Yes, sir.
You have to be a woman to form a local chapter?
Men have been part of the League of Women Voters since 1974. If there's not one, absolutely. Contact your Florida League. The Jacksonville League isn't too far from you, and they're active. In Orange County, we are the largest league in the United States east of the Rocky Mountains. We've got over 500 members.
We've got some other good questions back here.
What about getting in touch with the local League of Women Voters to have a speaker come out?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well,
Yes.
do you have,
I want to do this.
I mean, how do we go
Just go
about that?
online and do a search.
If you just do, what county do you live in?
I live in Broward.
Oh, you've got a huge league there, and they're involved, they're active, and they have a speakers bureau. I mean, I'm not a technical person, but I understand drinking water. And there are parts of this, somebody who's scientific can give you a better explanation, but all you need to know is we're in trouble.
Does anybody else need to sign up? Got, okay.
Anything else? Thank you very much.